morning. My name is Cait and I teach with Tula. Coming to you live from our studio this morning. Today I will be guiding you through an all levels flow. We'll be working on a little bit of a one-legged balance. Nothing too crazy. But to get started today, we will go ahead and make our way to our backs. We're going to be here on our backs for just a couple of minutes here. So you have the option to have butterfly legs, soles of the feet together, or you can have your legs extended long or knees bent, finding a shape that feels comfortable for you. If you choose the butterfly shape, you can begin to open your hips and maybe even place a couple of blocks or bolsters underneath your knees. Bring one hand to the belly and one hand to the chest. Close your eyes, soften the features on your face, and then begin to connect with your breath. Following it in through the nostrils, down the back of the throat, to the chest, to the belly. Following each breath in and out. Maybe noticing the chest and the belly as they rise and fall with each breath. We're just simply observing the breath, noticing anything, not manipulating or changing, just noticing where it's at today, within this space. Letting each breath guide you to a more relaxed, a more settled state. And if the mind wanders, gently bring it back to the rise and fall of the belly and chest. We'll be here for a couple of more breaths. Maybe finding a deeper sense of calm with each exhale. Take one really, really deep inhale, filling the chest, the belly, the lungs, all the way with air. Exhale through the mouth and just let it all go. Bring the knees in together and then bring the knees in towards the chest. Pressing the lower back into the mat, then pressing the upper, then middle back into the mat, and just hang here for a moment. Noticing any sensations on your lower back, any sensations through your spine. Your hands can be on your knees or on the backs of your thighs, whatever feels best. As we move throughout class today, I invite you to leave behind what doesn't feel good. If there's a pose that I cue that doesn't feel good, please feel free to skip it. I encourage you to listen to your body and what it's telling you. Let's go ahead and extend the heels toward the ceiling, straightening the legs, keeping the lower back pressed into the mat. And let's bring the hands down to the ground, the biceps zipping into the rib cage. Palms on the mat or on the ground. We'll just hang here, letting the blood flow from the toes all the way down the legs. Maybe noticing any sensations, any warmth, any coldness, any tingling. And while we're here, just make sure you're staying connected to your natural breath, just letting the belly rise and fall. Let's go ahead and bring the knees back in towards the chest. And then let's drop the feet down to the mat, the soles of the feet to the mat. Soles of the feet are going to be about hip distance apart. The heels are going to be a couple of inches away from your fingertips when your arms are extended. Planting through the soles of the feet equally, so trying to apply pressure to all parts of the sole of the foot. Begin to gently lift your hips toward the ceiling, activating through the glutes. We're going to hold here in our first bridge pose for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release the hips back down to the ground. Pausing for a moment. We're going to do that 2 more times. So on the inhale, lift your hips toward the ceiling, pressing through the heels and the soles of the feet. Imagine that there's a string connecting your hips to the ceiling. With each inhale, maybe finding a little bit more height. Holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly release the hips back down to the ground. Do that one more time, but for the count of 10. So on your inhale, plant through the soles of the feet, lift your hips. Imagine you're squeezing a block between your legs. And you can even roll your shoulders under here. Maybe try to clasp your hands underneath your seat. Maybe press your forearms into the ground. That string still connecting the hips to the ceiling. Holding here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Unclasp your hands, lower your hips back down to the ground. And then knees can come back into chest. Maybe grabbing a hold of the tops of the knees. Let's begin to make circles here with the knees. You can start making circles together, going clockwise or counterclockwise. Just massaging the lower back. Noticing any tenderness, any soreness. Switch directions with your circles. Come back through center. We're going to plant the soles of the feet on the mat again, keeping the knees bent, but this time walking the feet to be about mat width distance apart. Arms come down to the sides again, or maybe making your arms a big T. Then we're going to slowly drape the right knee in towards the center line. You're going to feel that stretch through the outside of your hip, maybe a little bit into your lower back. And then the left knee can also drape out to the left. So finding a windshield wiper type shape. Come back through center, both knees come up. Then we drape the left knee in towards the center of the mat. Then the right knee can drape out to the right. Come back through center, and you can repeat this motion. We're going to move through this a couple of times, finding a pace that feels good for you. You can take as long as you want between each windshield wiper, pausing anywhere that needs extra attention. You may notice that one side feels a little bit sore or more tender or more flexible than the other, and that's okay. Just take note of it, be mindful of it as you move. Couple more windshield wipers here. Let's come back through center. Knees come back into the chest. Grab a hold of the backs of the thighs and then extend the heels toward the ceiling, so we're finding legs at the imaginary wall. Option to keep your hands here for just a couple of moments or bring your hands down to the ground. We're just going to point the toes towards the ceiling and then point the toes back towards the body, towards the torso. Pointing, flexing. As you move through these small little ankle and toe motions, just notice any sensations traveling up and down your legs. Notice if it changes the muscles and activates anything on your legs. Okay, we're going to point the toes towards the body, kind of like you're standing on the ceiling or walking on the ceiling, so the foot is nice and flexed. And we're going to slowly start to lower the right foot down towards the ground. So first activate through the core, belly button towards spine, pressing into the lower back, and then slowly start to lower the right leg down. Find a hover a couple of inches above the ground. Keep that core tight. And then bring the right leg back up to meet the left. Other side, slowly start to lower the left leg down to the ground, keeping that core tight. Find that couple of inches of a hover. And then the left leg comes back up to the ceiling to meet the right. We're going to do that one more time. So slowly start to lower the right leg down towards the ground, finding that hover. Holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right leg comes back up to meet left. Good work. One last time. Let's lower the left leg down towards the ground, keeping that foot flexed. Heel moves to be hovering a couple of inches above the ground. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Left comes back up to meet right. Bend the knees in towards the chest. Grab a hold of the tops of the knees. Check in with your breath. Check in with your heartbeat. And we're going to slowly make our way to a tabletop. So however you'd like to get there, you can rock back and forth, coming to a seat, and then moving to hands and knees. Or you can roll to one side, prop yourself up, and make your way to your hands and knees. Here on our tabletop, wrists stacked underneath shoulders, knees stacked underneath hips. Toes are directly behind the knees, so rather than pigeon-toeing in towards each other, we want to try to keep them in one straight line with the knees. Tops of the feet on the ground. And then on the inhale, slowly begin to drop your belly, lifting the gaze, pulling the chest gently, slightly forward, finding a cow pose. Exhale, round the spine, gaze moves to the ground or to the navel, pressing through the palms. Cat. Inhale, moving through cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow, chest pulls slightly forward. Exhale, cat. Come back through tabletop. And then we're going to just warm up the wrists a tiny bit here. So first, flip the left palm so that the palm is facing your body, so that the top of the left hand is on the mat. And just begin to make some movements back and forth, maybe massaging the top of the hand or massaging the wrist. If you're like me, you'll find lots of crinkling and crackling, kind of like it's knots forming at the top of the wrist. Flip the left palm back to the mat, and we're going to switch sides, flipping the right palm so that the right top of the hand is on the mat. Left palm is facing the body. And then again, begin to make movements back and forth, maybe massaging the wrist. Good work. Let's flip the right hand back. And we are going to step, so come back to your tabletop. Palms section cupping the ground. Let's step the right leg back, extending that right leg. Tucking the toes. We're going to keep our arms and hands where they are, but we're going to try to shift the weight back just a little bit to open through the back of the calf. So maybe pulling the right heel away from you. Right heel maybe moves more towards the wall behind you or towards the ground. You can just move gently back and forth here, opening through the calf or stretching the calf a little bit. Okay, right knee comes back to tabletop to meet the left, and then we're going to extend the left leg, tucking the left toe, pressing the left heel back. And again, you can gently move, shift weight back and forth to stretch the calf, to warm it up just a little bit. Okay, come back through tabletop. And we're gonna, big toes move to touch. Send your hips back. We're gonna press the hips back towards the heels, towards the calves, finding a child's pose. Your belly and your chest may come to rest on your thighs, or if you'd like to have a wider child's pose, your knees can be mat width distance apart. You may want to walk your hands out a little bit more in front of you to create some more length in the spine, and then the forehead can move towards the mat. And we're going to take a couple of really deep breaths here, filling the lungs, filling the back of the ribs. With each inhale, noticing how much space the breath creates. With each exhale, inviting more calm, more relaxation. Three more deep breaths here. Deep inhale. Exhale, let it go. Deep inhale. Exhale, let it go. One more deep inhale. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, let's slither to tabletop. We're going to tuck the toes, lift the knees, and then send the hips up and back, downward facing dog. You can adjust the length of your down dog here, walking your feet up or walking them back, whatever feels most comfortable. Biceps rotate in towards each other, armpits rotate in towards each other. You can pedal out your feet here, walking your dog. You can maybe wag your tail, moving the hips from side to side. Okay, let's slither forward to high plank. We're gonna drop to the knees. And then we're gonna bend the elbows, keeping the elbows zipped into rib cage, dropping all the way down to the chest, and then to the chin. And then slide your upper body forward, finding a baby cobra. Untuck the back toes. Tops of the feet to come to the mat, come to the rest on the mat. Ankles rotating in towards each other. Hands underneath shoulders. On your inhale, press through the belly, through the pelvis, finding baby cobra. And exhale, lowering down. We're gonna do that 2 more times. Inhale, press through the belly, lifting the chest, baby cobra. Exhale, come back down. 1 more time, deep inhale, baby cobra, lifting the chest. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, press through tabletop, coming to hands and knees. And then press back to a child's pose. This time, if you did legs together, the first child's pose, go ahead and have your knees be wide, mat distance apart, leaving lots of room for the chest and through the belly, in between the legs. Walk your hands out a little more forward. Feel that stretch through the spine, through the shoulders, and then relax your head, let the forehead rest on the mat. And we'll do those 3 really big breaths again. Really deep inhale, filling the back of the ribs with air. Exhale, let it go. 2 more, deep inhale. Exhale, let it go. 1 more, deep inhale. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, we're going to come back through tabletop. Tuck the toes, lift the knees, hips up and back, downward facing dog. And then look between the hands, slowly start to walk to the top of the mat, taking as many steps as you need. Coming to a forward fold. Feet are stepped hip distance apart. Bring your hands to your shins, and on the inhale, gaze forward, lengthen through the spine, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. You can have a bend in your knees here if you need. Go ahead and grab opposite elbows, coming into ragdoll. So in ragdoll, we're letting the torso be heavy, folded over the legs. Let the head be heavy, let the arms be heavy. And you can sway from side to side. Maybe finding new length with each sway. Release the elbows, and on the inhale, let's sweep arms up, coming to stand tall, fingertips reach to ceiling. Exhale, hands come down to the sides. Okay. Sun salutation A. Or Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale to flat back, hands to shins, gaze forward. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to a high plank, and let's drop to the knees. Bend the elbows just a couple of inches, keeping the elbows zipped into ribcage, modified chaturanga. And then inhale, tops of the feet come to the mat, lift the knees, chest pulls forward, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good work. We're gonna hold here in down dog for 5 breaths. I invite you to tuck your belly button in towards your spine to maybe find a little bit more length in the spine. You can pull the heels down towards the ground. Release the neck. Maybe shake it, your head yes or no. 3 more breaths. 2 more breaths. 1 more breath. Look between your hands, step to the top of the mat. Finding that forward fold again. Hands come to shins, pressing the shins. Inhale, lengthen the spine, flat back, gaze forward. Exhale, fold forward. This time, grab a hold of your big toes with your peace fingers. You can have as deep a bend in your knees as you need. Feet can be hip distance apart or maybe a little bit wider, depending on what's comfortable for you. Once you have that grip of your peace fingers on your big toes, inhale, pull into the toes press into the fingers. Find your flat back shape again, finding length in that spine. And then as you exhale, fold forward, using that pull to create some more length in your spine. Be here for a couple more breaths. One more deep inhale. Exhale. Release the toes, and on the inhale, sweep arms up, sweeping the fingertips towards the ceiling. Exhale, hands come down to the sides. Okay, let's run through our Surya Namaskar B. Let's go ahead and bend the knees. Sweep arms forward. Sink the hips back. We're finding a chair pose here, so the weight moves more towards the back of the heels, a little bit less on the toes. You may be able to move your toes, wiggle them a little bit off the mat. Tighten through the core again, belly button towards spine. Take one more deep inhale. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale to flat back. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to your high plank. Option to drop to the knees again or go all the way down to the belly. Or move through a chaturanga, so slithering forward. Exhale, bend the elbows any amount. Elbows zipped into rib cage. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. You always have the option to skip the vinyasa flow and move straight to down dog. Let's lift the right leg high to the sky, keeping the hips square to the mat. Bend the right knee. We're going to step it in between the hands toward the right hand, and you can wiggle your foot forward if you need. We're going to make our way to high lunge, so find your stability here. Squeezing the thighs, rotating them in towards each other. When you're ready, sweep arms up, stabilizing through that front leg, activating through the right quad. And then arms sweep up, high lunge. If you're a little bit wobbly like me, that's okay. It happens. 2 more deep breaths here. Inhale. Exhale, maybe find a little bit deeper of a bend. 1 more breath, deep inhale. Exhale, bend that front knee a little more. Let's cartwheel the hands down to frame the front foot. Step back to high plank. Option for a vinyasa flow, bending the elbows, chaturanga. Up dog. Down dog. Lift the lift the left leg high to the sky. Keeping the hips square to the mat. Begin bending that left knee, bringing it in towards your chest, and then step the left hand between the hands towards the left hand this time. Again, we're going to make our way to high lunge, so find your stability here, squeezing the thighs together. Activate through the core as you sweep arms up. Finding strength and stability in that front leg, in that front quad. Three more breaths, deep inhale. Exhale, maybe bend a little bit more. 2 breaths, inhale. Exhale, bend a little more. One more breath, deep inhale. Exhale, bend a tiny bit more in that front leg. And then let's cartwheel hands down, frame the front foot, step back to high plank. In this high plank, take a deep inhale. And then as you exhale, move through your flow, whether it's chaturanga, modified chaturanga. Up dog and down dog. Let's go ahead and drop to the knees, wide-legged child's pose. Big toes can touch, pressing the seat back toward the heels. Again, making lots of space for the chest here towards the ground. Forehead can move towards the ground, and just check in with the breath. Check in with your heartbeat. Taking really deep, exaggerated breaths. Two more breaths deep, inhale. Exhale, let it go. Inhale. Exhale, let it go. Walk your hands a little bit back. And we're going to make our way again to a tabletop. Tuck the toes, lift the knees. Downward facing dog. And then let's switch it up by walking the hands back towards the feet. Slowly shifting the weight backwards. Inhale, hands come to shins, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Grab a hold of the ankles this time if it feels okay, or the calves, whatever feels best. And just hang here in your forward fold, letting the head be super heavy, being pulled toward the ground. Release the ankles, and as you inhale, bend the knees, sink the hips back, sweep arms forward, finding chair pose. Holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Straighten the legs, sweep arms up, fingertips reach towards ceiling, and then exhale, hands come down to the sides. All right, we're gonna add on to that. So, sweep arms up, fingertips reach to ceiling. And then as you exhale, bend your knees, sinking hips back, chair pose. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale to your flat back, hands to shins. Exhale, fold, and then walk your hands to the top of the mat. We're going to come first through a downward facing dog. And then inhale, slither forward to high plank. Option to go through a vinyasa flow. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. All right, let's lift the right leg high to the sky, keeping the hips square to the mat. Bend the right knee. Step it between the hands toward the right hand. Finding that stability, again, knee over the top of the ankle. Sweep arms up. High lunge. All right, we're going to begin to shift the weight forward to the front leg. So you can bring your hands to heart center, or you can bring your hands to your hips, or whatever hand variation is going to help serve you during this shape. But we're going to try to bring the weight to the right leg. And if you need to adjust, and if you fall, it's totally fine. But we're going to come to stand on that right leg. Bring the left knee in towards the chest, or towards the belly. Option here to extend the left leg so that the heel is pulling away from you, and just seeing how far You can lift your heel and the toes toward the ceiling. Okay, bring the knee back in towards the chest. We're going to teeter backwards, stepping the left foot back. High lunge, sweep arms up, good work. Exhale, fold forward, step back to high plank. Option to flow or meet me in downward facing dog. Okay, let's try it on the other side. Left leg lifts high to the sky. Step it through the hands. You can wiggle it forward if you need to get the knee over the top of the ankle. When you are ready and stable, sweep arms up, high lunge. And again, you can do whatever you'd like with your hands. For me, the easiest is to bring my hands to my hips or to heart center. Slowly start to shift the weight to the left leg, maybe straightening the left leg. And then bring the right knee in towards the chest. Option to keep it here or extend the leg. Seeing how far you can raise the toes and heels toward the ceiling and away from the ground. Bring the right knee back in towards the chest. Step the right foot back into our high lunge. Sweep arms up, awesome job. And then cartwheel the hands forward, frame the front foot. Step back to your high plank. Option for a flow or meet me in downward facing dog. If you're flowing, shift weight forward, exhale chaturanga. Inhale up dog. Tops of the feet come to the mat. Exhale down dog, tucking the toes. Heels pull towards the ground. Let's go ahead and walk the feet up about 1 foot. And then spread them so that they're mat width distance apart. Option to stay here in a down dog variation. Or you can walk your hands back, find ragdoll arms. So a little bit of a straddle ragdoll here. You can sway again from side to side. Be careful here to try to not spill to the outside edges of the feet. Try to stay active and planted through all corners of the feet, keeping arches lifted. Okay, bring the hands to the shins. Inhale, flat back in the straddle. Exhale, fold forward. And then inhale, sweep arms all the way up, fingertips reach to ceiling. And then exhale, hands come down to the sides. We're going to come into a yogi squat. So feet are about hip distance apart right now. Let's go ahead and pivot the feet so that the toes, the feet are pointed at a 45-degree angle, toes pointing towards the right and the left respectively. So we're going to start wiggling our way down, so start bending the knees. And you can sort of shimmy down until you find your edge, but be really gentle with it. If this is as far as you can go, that's totally fine. If you can go a little bit further, that's great. If you'd like to sit on a pillow, blocks, whatever, bring your hands to your knees. Just play with it here as gently as you can. If you need to bring your feet closer together or further away, that's also fine. Option to bring your hands down towards the ground. Plant your right hand on the ground, lift your left towards the sky, finding a little bit of a yogi squat twist. Bring the left hand down to the ground, planting it on the ground underneath your heart center. Right hand lifts towards the ceiling. Twist on the other side. Right hand comes back down to the ground. And then we're gonna make our way to a seat. So however you'd like to get there. If you'd like to shimmy one way, or move forward through tabletop and swing your legs around. We're gonna prepare for a little bit of a lot of a boat pose. So boat pose, we're rooted on our sits bones here, finding that stable point where you can balance. We're gonna come to the tippy toes of the feet, hands behind the backs of the thighs. Open through the chest, roll the shoulders back, gaze forward. Activate through the core, tightening the core, belly button in towards spine. And when you're ready, lift the toes off the ground, finding a 90-degree angle. You can keep your hands on the back of your thighs here, or you can bring your hands to the sides of the legs, keeping the shoulders nice and open. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the feet down to the ground. Check in with your breath. Just going to do that one more time. This time adding the option to straighten your legs. So again, hands come back to the backs of the thighs, coming onto the tippy toes. Find that stable point again on your sits bones that you can balance. Open through the shoulders. Tighten the core, belly button towards spine, and then lift the feet off the ground. Option to straighten your legs as much as you can. Option to bring your hands to the sides, holding for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Whew. Okay. Shake it out. Give yourself a little bit of a break. And then extend your legs in front of you. You can have a bend in your knees here if you need, if you have tight hamstrings, or you can tilt your pelvis a little bit forward by sitting on a block, a pillow, whatever feels good for you. First, finding Dandasana, hands planted on the ground by the hips, gaze forward, opening through the chest, lengthening through the spine, crown of the head pulls toward the ceiling. And go ahead and just close your eyes for a couple of breaths. Using each inhale to find new length, new height in your spine. 3 more breaths, deep inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last breath, inhale. Exhale. Open your eyes, and as you inhale, sweep arms up, fingertips reach the ceiling. Exhale, fold forward, hinging at the hips. Keep your back as neutral and strong as you can. Finding that comfortable edge to fold over your front legs. And again, if you need to have your knees bent, that's totally fine. Once you fold forward, grab a hold of what feels best. So maybe it's the shins, ankles, or maybe it's the toes or the feet. And then we're going to be here for 5 breaths. Each inhale, we're going to focus on pulling the chest slightly forward to find more length in the spine. Exhale, hinging a little bit deeper into the fold. 4 more breaths. Deep inhale, length. Exhale, fold. Inhale, length. Exhale, fold. 2 more breaths. Inhale, length. Exhale, fold. 1 last breath. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, begin to walk your hands back towards your body, towards your hips. And we're going to work through a half lotus shape today. So begin to bend your right knee towards your body. And we're going to bring the right ankle over the top of the left thigh, trying to bring the right heel as close to the left hip as possible. If this does not feel good for you, that's totally fine. You can do a half butterfly shape instead, so that your right leg, your right foot is connected to your left thigh, or you can do the ankle over the top of the left thigh. So, keeping a hold of this right foot with your left hand, inhale, sweep the right arm up, and then exhale, fold over that front leg, the long leg, grabbing a hold again of whatever feels okay, whether it's the ankle, the ground, the shin, or maybe the toes. And we're going to be here for 3 breaths. Inhale, finding length in the spine, pulling chest forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, length. Exhale, fold. One more breath. Inhale, length. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way back up. Right leg comes to meet left. You can go ahead and shake it out. And then when you're ready, we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. So bend the left knee. Bring the left ankle over the top of the right thigh. Bring the left heel towards the right hip. And then keeping a hold of the left foot with the right hand this time. Inhale, sweep the left arm up towards the ceiling. Exhale, fold over the right leg. And we'll be here for 3 breaths. Inhale, length. Exhale, fold. Inhale, length. Exhale, fold. One more breath, deep inhale for some length. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way back up. Extend the left leg to meet the right. Shake it out. And then one last seated pose. Let's go ahead and bring the feet to meet, soles of the feet to meet, bending both the legs, finding our Baddha Konasana or our butterfly legs. Gravity pulls the knees towards the ground. Unless it's hard on your knees, and you can always stick a pillow or something underneath your knees for some added support. Take a deep inhale, find that length in that spine, and then exhale, fold forward over your butterfly. So you have 2 options here. You can have a straight, neutral spine, or you can round your spine, whatever feels best. You can let your head gravitate towards your feet. Totally up to you and whatever feels good. You can try both. So neutral spine, chest pulling forward, or rounded spine, relaxing the muscles along the spine. I'm going to be here for 5 more breaths. 3 breaths. One more deep inhale. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, come all the way back up to a tall spine. And we're going to make our way to our backs. Let's go ahead and bring the knees into the chest again. Tops of the hands. Hands come to the tops of the knees. Just take a moment here to let your back, your lower back, your middle back, and upper back just really sink into the mat and be supported by the stability of the ground. And then we're gonna move into a happy baby. So the arms are going to travel in between the legs, so keeping them to the inside of the knees. And we're going to grab a hold of either the ankles, the shins, or maybe the big toes. The knees are going to be about mat width distance apart, or maybe even a little bit wider. And the knees can pull towards the ground or towards the armpits. But while we're here, try to keep the lower back pressed into the ground. So there's a lot going on. there's a dynamic tension between the toes and the fingers, or the ankles and the hands, whatever you're holding onto on your legs and ankles. There's going to be a dynamic tension that your feet are pulling towards the ceiling while your arms are pulling the feet back down. And the lower back is pressed into the mat. And then the knees are pulling towards the ground. Once you find your little balance or shape here, you can make it as dynamic as you choose. You can sway from side to side. You can straighten one leg, then maybe the other, maybe both. Just really playing with it and noticing how it makes your hips feel, how it makes your back feel. Couple more breaths here, really enjoying the shape. Okay, let's release the feet back down to the mat. And we're going to come into an eagle shape twist. So if you know that there's a twist shape that feels best for your body, I encourage you to take it. I will guide you through an eagle twist today. So we're going to keep the feet planted on the mat, both soles of the feet planted on the mat, knees bent. We're going to cross the right leg over the left. Maybe you can tuck your right foot to your left. You can hook the right foot to the left calf. I know I can't, but many people can. And then we're going to drape both knees to the left side, finding that twisted shape. It's a really intense twisted shape, so if it doesn't feel good for you, that's okay. You can have both legs sort of draping that way without being crossed, or you can have just the right leg draping over. Couple of breaths here. Arms are a T. Gaze can be towards the ceiling or maybe to the right hand or shoulder for the full supine twist. Two more breaths, really deep inhale here, noticing where the breath is going. Exhale, let it go. One more breath, deep inhale. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, come back through center. Uncross your legs, both soles of the feet come back to the mat. Take a moment here just to notice any difference between the two sides. And then when you're ready, go ahead and cross the left leg over the right and hooking the left toes to the back of the right calf, if that's something that's possible for you. If not, it's okay. It's not required. And we're going to slowly start to drape both knees to the right side, So the opposite of where we were. You may notice that one side feels better or easier or more supported than the other. Just take a note of any asymmetries. And again, arms are a T. Gaze can be towards the ceiling or gaze can be to the left side for the full supine twist. Staying connected with your breath, full inhales, full exhales. Two more breaths, deep inhale. Notice where the breath is going. Exhale, let it go. One more deep inhale. Exhale, let it go. Let's come back through center, slowly as you'd like. And I invite you to take any final movements that your body needs before moving into its shape of Shavasana. Excuse me, I have a frog in my throat. You can windshield wiper your legs one more time. You can find that happy baby. You can make circles with your knees. And then whenever you're ready, make your way to your version of Shavasana. So traditionally, legs extended long, legs relaxed, and then arms on the ground, palms facing up, shoulders melting into the mat. If this is a lot on your back, on your lower back specifically, you can bend your knees, step the feet to be mat width distance apart, and knock your knees in towards each other. It'll alleviate any pressure on your lower back. Or you can have butterfly legs, basically any shape that feels good for you. It's different for everybody. Anything that will help you absorb the practice today and help you find a little bit of rest in these last couple of minutes. Whenever you find your shape, scan your body, searching for any tension that you can let go of. Letting go of any tension in your toes, in your ankles, in your calves, in your knees, and your thighs. Releasing tension in your hips and your pelvis, in your belly. Releasing tension in your ribs, your chest. Relaxing the fingers, the palms, the ankles, the wrists, and the forearms. Release the elbows, the biceps, and the shoulders. Let go of any tension in your neck, in your jaw, and your lips. Relax your nose, the space between your eyebrows, the space behind your eyelids. Soften your forehead, and let the back of the head be heavy. Let the whole spine, all of your bones be heavy, supported by the mat and by the earth. We'll be here for a couple of minutes. If your mind begins to wander, invite it back to the breath. slowly begin to welcome small movements back into your body. Maybe wiggling your fingers or your toes or moving your head from side to side. Whenever you're ready, take your time getting there. We're going to move to either side, finding a fetal position. You can use your bicep as a pillow, knees stacked on top of each other, letting the spine reset. Slowly and gently prop yourself back up to a comfortable seat, keeping your eyes closed if you can. Bring one hand on top of your heart space on your chest. Stack the other on top, keeping your eyes closed. Connect again with your breath, that rise and fall of the chest with each inhale and exhale. I invite you to think of something that you're grateful for today. And surround yourself with that gratitude. Slowly and gently open your eyes. Thank you so much for flowing with me today, and I hope that you have a wonderful rest of